Do I have any achievements that I'm proud of thus far in bodybuilding? Yes, I'm gonna get them for you. Hey there YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna hang out and I'm gonna share my bodybuilding journey with you because I really loved when I was getting into bodybuilding, watching Julie Renee and hearing her story and seeing her journey along with it. It made it feel less lonely. And I know we'll say like bodybuilding isn't a lonely sport because we're trying to break the stigma and there's definitely community within it. But as you're getting into it, it's a lot. And that's why I'm here. So I hope you all will enjoy me sharing my journey, and if you have questions, if I didn't cover something, let me know down below because I'll definitely want to frequently update this as I progress in this sport as well. So grab a snack or grab water like I have right now. Let's just get ready to hang out. First question first, how I got into bodybuilding. This is like throughout little moments of my life, if I'm gonna be very honest. I've always liked a more muscular physique. Like I remember being younger, looking at the magazines. My mom didn't let me buy them or whatever, but I would just be like really impressed with muscle. And then when I moved out and on my own to South Florida, I remember a girl I went to school with actually won an Olympia, and we were all like, this girl won Olympia, and I got like intrigued again by it. So again, I was buying like Muscle and Fitness, her magazine, something like that, I don't remember, but I was buying fitness magazines and reading about it and being very intrigued with the training and everything. I did not really like train intentionally for it, and she won a bikini Olympia when it was still like pretty new. I grew up dancing, so I was active, and then I also liked the gym actually since I was younger. Like again, I was always intrigued by muscle. And back to this point, I was like in my 20s. I had a friend who did her first bodybuilding show, and I actually helped her do her stage makeup for it because I've always been like a glam girl. And she was like, yeah, you could do like bikini. It's like a newer division. It's like really like sassy. And I thought about it and didn't go for it. Like, I regret a few things in life. I definitely regret that. But I was still like going into the gym here and there. But later in my 20s, I completely fell out of the gym. And most recently, when I got back in 2021, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna give it all I got. Not with the goal of bodybuilding at all. My trainer, my coach, however you're gonna call it, he is a bodybuilder, and I would see him train competitors, and it started to spark my interest again. And this is like after I've been with him for a minute. I was really healthy in the gym, like had a good relationship with it, and I was like, I wonder if I could do it. Like, I wonder. And I had the bug bite me again, and I stumbled upon looking up and into competitors, and I found like Yarishna, who I love her physique. I found Julia Renee, and she has a lot of content, so it was easy for me again to watch her content and start to understand it. And I was like, yeah, I think this is the time. I think I'm gonna do it. Which just flows perfectly into like what made me just go ahead, decide to do it. Truthfully, you only have one life to live. And the year before I got back into the gym was a year of a really big low of like losing my dad and cousin. And so I have this very real, I don't want to get emotional, I hate getting all teary-eyed, but I have this real relationship with understanding what death is, right? And how permanent it is. And my cousin was pretty close to my age, and I do not want to be in my last moments ever of life thinking, I wonder what if, could have, should have, because I already had that moment when I first wanted to get into bodybuilding, and I decided to just go for it. How did I find my coach? This is something, if you're getting into competing, take your time and find the right coach. Luckily, my coach, I had already been training with him for a bit. He is a friend of my husband's, and my husband actually recommended for me to train with him because I'm a little spicy to train. And my coach will push me, and he understands me, and someone I trusted to go through this journey. He wasn't about pushing PEDs, so I just found him based on already working with him. But if you are not already training with someone, you're looking for a coach, I really recommend you do some self-reflecting and understand what is most important to you in a coach athlete relationship and write those questions down and really talk about that before you give your money, hard-earned money, over, because this is an expensive sport. It's not like you're buying someone's $50 program online. You're investing in this person to help you really get some results, and your relationship is working very closely, that you know what you want out of that relationship and ask those questions. So long story short, I found my coach because he was already my trainer, thank goodness. But if not, I would have proceeded with what I just recommended. So how I pick my division is wellness division. And if you want to know the criteria, go to the website of NPC. That's where I compete in, and I also compete in OCB, but the criteria is the same. But either way, go to whichever like federation you want to compete in and see what the criteria is for the division. And then that's when you have to be realistic about where you are currently, and it depends on how soon you want to compete. Now, if you want to grow into a division, you absolutely can, and you can get a coach to tailor your training to that. But for me, I wanted to compete sooner rather than later, so I looked at where I naturally was leaning towards, and I felt like wellness was the right fit. I felt like I did have a significant amount of lower body muscle disproportionate to upper body, which is the key of that category. Now, could I have probably started off in bikini? Yeah, I could have leaned out and we could have seen where my muscle was laying more, but I've never gotten feedback that I'm in the wrong division, period. The other thing I just wanted to determine of picking my division is what I wanted to train towards. So I enjoy lower body days. I enjoy pushing those, and you have to think about realistically, what does that training look like for that division and fitting that criteria. So how many shows has your girl competed in? 3 total, 3 last year, and they are one NPC show, which was the Clash Girl Power. Fantastic show. It's such a fun show to be my first show. Very eye-opening, but it was so fun. I felt like a princess that day. Like, just the goodie bags, the everything, the way they treat you backstage, the professionalism of the show, and being judged by Sandy Williamson, like the head judge in NPC. Like, she is super insightful. It was really nice to get that as my very first feedback, and very meaningful. Then my second and third show were in the OCB Federation, which is a natural federation, and I did one in Daytona, my hometown, and then I recently did my last one in November of last year in Tampa. So I'll throw some pictures. So what are my specific goals and fitness goals in bodybuilding? One is to build the best lower body possible and really maximize my potential into the wellness division. I know, truthfully, if I ever come to a point that I want to cross out of it, or I'm growing out of that category, I just love competing. I do have a goal of being a pro, and wherever path that gets me there, I'm open to it. But right now, my true fitness goal is really balancing out and building into that wellness physique and just being a good ambassador for the sport. I know I'm like a nobody in this whole thing. I'm such a small fry, but that's why I'm doing this and just sharing my journey, my experience, hopefully to help others, because I've seen and heard of people having horrible experiences, that's whether it's based on a show, based on a coaching, based on information, like whatever the case may be. I just rather be like positivity in it, and I have such a passion for this sport as a fan, as an athlete, and hopefully working in events as well for bodybuilding. I would literally love to do that. Do I follow a particular workout routine? Yes. That's like the thing of bodybuilding. My workout routine though, like you'll see some people, it's like a push, a pull day, a lower body day. Mine is all catered towards the wellness division, and making sure I have a really nicely developed lower body, imbalanced yet balanced to the upper body. So I still have upper body days and all of that. So I follow a routine, and it's really like a partnership with me and my coach right now. He has me on a plan, and I may add in touch-ups to it of things that I know that I want to work. There's times where I'm just crafting out my plan, because again, I know what I want to work on. So I love the fact that we have like that working relationship too. How would I describe my current nutrition plan? Well, here's the announcement. I'm going on a contest prep. So I was in a little bit of a build phase. It wasn't the most strategic, and it's really on me because your girl Sweet Tooth was really fighting back with her. But I've been mostly eating the same thing I do on prep, like on competition prep, just more of it. So now we're dialing it in and we're going into a contest prep. I prefer a meal plan over macros because I am very busy. I still work a full-time job, and it's easier for me to put together those meals that are already determined for me and keep it moving. I know some people want macros so they can have the flexibility, and I like that when I'm not trying to dial in for a show. But when I'm dialing in for a show, I know what works for my body. My coach knows what works for my body. We give a list, we keep life easy. You need that in prep, trust me. Have I faced any challenges or plateaus in my progress? I think challenges physically, yes. Understanding how to really train my lower body. You'll think you have a big booty until you lean out and you're like, I really don't. So really trying to maximize that growth. Also just the challenges of coming in more conditioned. So that means I have to be very aware of where I am in the off season and how long that really does take me to prep, especially as a natural athlete. So those have been challenges. Mental challenges too, because you can go into comparison mode. And yes, I worry about the competition now when I get on stage. I learned that in my last show. I cannot psych myself out of who's tagging a show, who's gonna show up with me, how it's all gonna be. I cannot worry about that. I have to worry about myself and how I get on stage. And that's it. So mental challenges for sure. Some body image ones, because when you go from being extremely lean, like I'll throw up a picture, like you can see all of my abs, and even when I was sitting down I can like feel into my hip bones. And then you go into now where I've put back on weight, and trust me, I'm very happy in my body right now. But there are moments where it messes with your mind because you're like, will I be able to get that lean again? Like, was that real? Like, you just go through some weird things. So you have to just be aware of that and know what type of help you may need. That may be talking to a friend, or that may mean professional help. So that is a risk that comes with this. Plateaus, none quite yet, because I don't think I've pushed it hard enough to really hit that plateau. So I'm gonna brace myself for that. And I think really is thinking about some of the greats that are on stage. When you look at their physique year by year by year, sometimes you see drastic improvement, sometimes you see like those nice fine tunes, and just embracing if you're in that fine tuning phase versus looking at it as a plateau. Have I? Now, I know I touched on things, but I know you're wondering, have I made any mistakes on my journey? Absolutely. Absolutely. My first attempt of prepping was a disaster. Like, mentally, your girl couldn't get it together. I was so like attached to having foods, like certain foods. I'm like, well, I can't prep because it's like about to be my birthday and I have to have cake. And I get it. Like, if that's important to you, you could space these things around. But it just spiraled. I was like, but then it's Thanksgiving and it's Christmas, and I just couldn't get to that point, that nice point that I can get to now, where I'm like, babe, crumble cookie will be there, Epcot will be there, the Whataburger will be there, the turkey will be there, the hams, all that. Chill and get the emotional dependency upon foods nipped, right? So that was like my big mistake at first, and it set me back. Like, I had wanted to start competing January of 2023, and it set me back some months. But you know, everything happens for a reason, and honestly, I think my first show, I still don't regret that being my first show. It was so amazingly fun. The other mistakes I've done is not prioritizing like cardio, and like being so worried about muscle loss. You're gonna get small when you go into prep. A lot of people who you think are like super big in person are actually very, very small. You just get to such a leanness, and by the time you manipulate your carbs and your water and everything and you get on stage, you look a little voluminous, and plus you got a tan on, you're posing and exaggerating things. Like, it's all like a little bit of an optical illusion at being at such a leanness. And so being so worried about losing muscle, I didn't lose enough fat, period. So cardio isn't the only way to lose fat, but it is a big tool, and that cannot be like debated. Like, that's just that. So are there any specific muscle groups that I'm focused on? Yes. So one thing I'm really focused on right now are still like my shoulders. There are some girls, like there's one competitor who's about to be in the Arnold Bruna, and she does not have super capped shoulders like other people, which again, I may just like biologically, genetically speaking, I just probably have a little leaner, smoother muscle, not that bubbly, and that's fine, but I still want to bring them up as best as possible. My glutes, my hamstrings, I tend to be more quad dominant, so I focus on those, but not like a super emphasis. I just need to make sure I do like quad driven exercises and think about it, but really like my hamstrings and my glutes and my shoulders and abs. That's it. Just those little things. That actually is like a longer list than that. Care of it. Do I have any achievements that I'm proud of thus far in bodybuilding? Yes, I'm gonna get them for you. I was not thinking I was gonna be this extra when I like was going through these questions, but I have to share these because I'm proud of them, and I've placed in all 3 shows I've done. The first show, which was not my best conditioning, but as they said at the show, it's like if it's your first show, it's like the best and worst you're ever gonna look in a way. Like, is that oxymoron? Like oxymoronically? I don't know if that's a word, but you get what I mean. So I placed in 5th in wellness open class in the NPC Girl Power. That was my very first show. Then in the next show I did, which was the checkered flag, it was in Daytona with the OCB. I placed 2nd in wellness novice and 2nd in wellness open. So both of my classes. And then in my last show, which is like the most fiercely competitive show I've been in thus far, was the Tampa Natural in the OCB. And then I placed 3rd in wellness open and then in 3rd in wellness novice. So I technically bumped down a rank, but really like in the second show it was only 3 girls, so I just placed right in the middle. And then the lineup, like I had it like 7 girls maybe or more. I don't know. There were a lot of people, and on show day you kind of just like, it's a whirlwind. But yes, it was very competitive, but I'm really proud of like how I've done being new into bodybuilding, just like a year in, and I'm really proud. Really proud. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this. I've always been so competitive. I grew up competitive dancing. I'm happy to carry that into like my adulthood and just show people you can, period. The other thing I'm proud of is just like networking and going to events and getting outside of my comfort zone. So this is a picture from, how it focuses, the Seymour podcast event with Laura Lee Chapados and Phoebe Hagen, and they're 2 bikini Olympians. I love bodybuilding, like not only like my wellness division, but like all divisions, and they have an incredible platform for podcasts. And just even Laura Lee, like if you don't follow her, I just love watching her train, and I learn a lot from her, and I got a chance to train with them for that day and listen to a live podcast and meet other competitors. So I think it was just really cool, like just the opportunities to network within this and going to workshops and posing clinics. Like I have so many cool pictures. I share more on my Instagram of that, so shameless plug per usual to follow me over there. I know this is just like getting started because like in my head I can hear, I can see it of me winning an overall and getting like a pro card, and I'm gonna work really hard for that, and I'm excited for the work that it will take to get there. So do I have any advice for aspiring competitors? And that's how we're gonna end today. But yes, of course, if you have a flicker of passion to do this, do not ignore it. Just try, give it your best shot, give it your full commitment. Understand that it takes muscle, right? It takes money. So I'm not gonna, I've seen some posts like, you better have X amount saved, and I understand where that number's coming from, but do the math and what's right for you. Some patience and commitment, because it may not be an overnight thing, and then a good mental and support. So you have those in check, and you are willing to go on this journey, you never know what you're going to get out of it. It gives everybody who goes into the sport something different, and I think that's beautiful. And anytime you hear people share about their journeys, it's always in awe of what it's done for them. And that goes back, it's not about like winning all these are fun, right? But you have to have something more to do this journey, not just winning. I love winning, I'm never gonna shy away from that, but I like the person I'm becoming through bodybuilding, and that's what keeps me definitely going too. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening and watching this. And if you are a fellow bodybuilder, feel free to share your journey down below, or if you're thinking of getting into bodybuilding, still share your journey of where you're at down below. I love to connect with everybody, and I look forward to sharing more with you. See you later.